Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today we are discussing Lesley Webber again, but filling in some of the plot holes, storyline. When we first talked about Lesley a few weeks ago, there was a lot of information not there.
Right. I think I like this better though, because I like hearing everyone else's side of it instead of just reading the information. You don't get the same enthusiasm reading it as reading someone else's email that says it in their own words and tells you something that you're like, oh, I can feel how excited you are to let us know that this happened.
So we read 2 emails at the beginning of Monday's episode. Guys, really, anything that we talk about that you want to have.
Absolutely.
You know, you've heard what we've read. You know, if you have a thought or something like that, you know, we can always do these themed ones where, like Lesley, we're able to fill in some of the missing pieces. But I loved listening to that Robin and Stone thing.
Right.
Because I hadn't thought about that with the book versus the comic.
Mm-hmm.
And why couldn't they just get a limo to Lollapalooza instead of driving themselves and all that? But,
right.
I mean, that did put part of the fun in it, but regardless.
Yes. Nothing ever fully makes sense or else it wouldn't be a soap.
Yeah, exactly. But I would like to encourage this.
Absolutely.
Yes. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing your stories.
And that's what makes it more of a conversation between all of us instead of just the two of us.
Right. It's not just about you and me.
Right.
It's about all of us together.
Are you going to break out into a
I have something going in my head right now.
Is that High School Musical?
It was I'd like to teach the world to sing.
Oh, no. Mine was we're all in this together from High School Musical.
I don't know High School Musical.
You don't? Oh, your kids are too little.
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, it was so...
And now I feel very uncomfortable going back because that's Zac Efron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's very true.
I am a fan of Zac Efron as an adult.
Yeah. But the show was cute.
It's the same thing as the Jonas Brothers.
See, I was never into the Jonas Brothers at any level, so I just don't care. But that's the thing.
Like, I know that one of my sisters was.
Okay.
And I appreciate them now as an adult.
Right, I like their music,
about the fact
but the whole, like, fanning over them, no, I never.
It's the same thing, like, I loved, like, ridiculously, insanely loved Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my floor-to-ceiling, him
so
all
cute.
over the walls. I mean, it was insane. I had problems. And he's still cute.
Right.
But watching Home Improvement now,
right,
it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, man, I was in love with you. But I mean, he's a year and 5 days older than me.
But it's the difference. The fact that you know that is insane. It's the difference also between watching someone currently act now.
Yes.
Like, my sister was obsessed with Karate Kid. I don't know how many times she watched that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like you've said to me 1,000 times, haven't you seen this? No, it's again one of those movies that I wouldn't watch because I heard it in the background constantly.
Right.
So I know all of it, but did I sit down and watch it? Absolutely not. So when Cobra Kai came out and everyone was talking about how awesome it was, she went back and watched it and was like, this is the movie. I still can get back into being a teenager and in love with him. But seeing him on Cobra Kai, it's a good show, but it's not the same effect as seeing him on Karate Kid. And I'm like, yeah, and that doesn't make any difference. It's just now we're all old and a little wrinkly and a couple pounds heavier and whatever. So
it happens. He's still cute though.
He is cute, but it's not.
He's a dad now though. He's not the little
Right, but
it's the first crush. It's when you have your awakening.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh.
Right.
Whatever you woo about.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to Lesley though. We just have an entire conversation about teen crushes.
Teen crushes, but I feel like it all goes together. You know what I'm saying.
Does.
All right, are you starting? Am I starting?
You can start.
Okay, so we had asked about why it was that Monica was calling Lesley Lester in last week's episode.
Yeah, when she showed up to the Quartermain mansion.
Oh, right.
To take down Cyrus.
They were going to become in cahoots with each other.
And she's called her it before. But
she has, but that was just the most recent time. So, your new best friend Dee answered that in her email also and said that she would shed a light on Lester's nickname As Monica's portrayer is named Lesley, Lester is her nickname. A lot of the older cast members call her that. Occasionally in an interview, you'll hear Jane Elliott or Brad Mall call her that, and so Monica is calling Lesley Lester, coming from that as a tribute back to Leslie Charleston herself.
That is so cute.
It is.
She's passing off her own nickname.
Yes. I kind of wanted some like girl fight though from back in the 80s to be the reason why.
Yeah.
You know how you call, not that it's appropriate or okay, but you call the new girlfriend some not nice name because you're jealous.
Right.
I wanted it to be linked to that. This is a way more cute, authentic reason.
Right.
But I thought it was coming from somewhere else.
Well, and then it's confusing as to why it's Leslie Charleston's nickname, because so typically, I mean, how they mush together names.
Right.
I would think something like that.
Yes.
But it's not. But still, I like when they bring in the little real life stuff.
Very cute.
For us to experience.
Yes.
And then Caffeinated Joe wrote us
That's cute.
an email. Hey, love the podcast. You had asked about Lesley Webber info. I've been watching since 77, 78, and when she was killed off, I was shell-shocked.
Aw.
First time I dealt with a sudden and unexpected death of a character. I was 13 at the time. I also loved when they did soap nonsense magic to bring her back. One scene I loved, even though I hated when they brought back Rick Webber and killed him off, was when Lesley sat in the hospital and talked with Tony about Rick dying and how she was so sad about it and that she felt weird since they hadn't been together for years. But Tony listened and validated her mourning her ex. Good small scene in the mess of writing at the time. Keep the podcast coming, Jay.
Aw.
Thank you.
I love it.
See, and I love that. That's the little things that...
Yes. Because that's the stuff we can't know.
Right.
We were too little.
No. Rick died when he came back to give away Laura.
No, I meant the
magic. Yeah.
The magical...
The nonsensical soap magic that brought her back.
Right, after she had died. And I know people told us it was off screen, but that didn't really... I'm glad everyone was shocked.
Well, yeah, because how we read it was she was just gone.
Yes, exactly.
So...
Because we were babies, or not born yet.
Nope, we were negative years old.
So...
That's the whole thing that you see now. How many todays, or how old were you? I was today years old.
Right.
When? How? It's a whole other podcast. But
we could make a podcast of the extra things that we talk about, and we would have like 100 other podcasts.
I know.
We get off on so many different ideas. All right. Diane Lambert left a comment on our episode. This is who you talked about the other day.
Yeah, but I didn't read the... Yeah, we
asked her for her info.
We mentioned it on
so we're still
last Monday's episode, just saying she left a comment. I didn't read the comment, though.
Right, but you asked her to get in contact with you because we have so many questions.
And we can't message on YouTube, and when the comment was left, there's no email address or anything, and...
That's so weird. You would think that they would link it together.
There wasn't a reply option to the comment, unless I missed it. Maybe I'll go back and look for that. But regardless, you listened to one of our shows. Hope that you listen to this again because you are a Lesley fan.
Yes.
So
she just says, hey there, ladies. I was just turned on to your podcast from a friend who is a friend of Steve Silverman. That was such a fun episode. So, of course, I listened to that. You had mentioned you had done a Lesley Webber episode. So, of course, I listened to that, being a huge Denise Alexander fan. I met Steve Silverman in Palm Springs for his first Hot as Hell event, which we did not know what that was.
Nope, and I've already... It's something that he used to do. Because I was like, so what is that? And how do
Why aren't we invited?
Well, we didn't know him.
Yes, exactly.
Now that we do, though.
If it comes back, we will be there.
Yep.
The reason I went was because Denise was going to be there, so I got to meet her and take pictures with her. Anyway, the reason I'm commenting is so that I can clear up why Denise's accident was off camera. She actually was in a contract dispute over vacation time, which she was denied, so she abruptly quit. Gloria Monty wouldn't give her the time she wanted off due to the whole Ginny Blake trying to take back her son after the Webbers adopted him.
I think that's that Michael kid.
Oh.
Is it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Guys, write back to us.
Help. And then she says she also runs the classic GH YouTube channel called GH Rick Lesley, which I know we've looked at
totally
100,000 times in all of our stuff. And then she gives us a good Monica and Lesley fight scene, which I'm sure you will link to an episode so that they can check it out.
Does it say what the fight scene is? Yeah. Children, Mike Webber.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So you don't have to email us about that.
There you go.
But that was that Mike kid that Lesley and Rick, that Monica and Rick had on. Remember when Alan was stalking them? When we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we talked about Monica's lovers?
No, you said that wrong. I can't even talk to you. Monica's what?
Lovers. No, what was the.
It's just
she says. Scene. Yeah, it says the fight scene.
It doesn't give me any more information.
Didn't watch which fight scene that was. Shoot. I should have watched it before we just did that.
I'm sure that it.
I will link it in the show notes.
Right.
I just didn't read it. Yep.
That's good.
Okay. New listener.
Yay. Thank you for joining us.
Our numbers have gone up.
That's awesome.
Over the past month. I mean, they always go up, but thank you guys so much for sharing our show with your other GH loving friends.
Yes. It's so exciting just to see the numbers.
It is.
And who's listening to what, to get an idea of what the popular subjects are.
Yes. Some have really surprised me that they've done better or worse than I thought that they would.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's just, obviously over the holidays, it's always tough.
Yes.
So, okay. This is from Donna. And I just discovered your podcast courtesy of Steve Silverman. So thank you, Steve.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you got to chat with him. I love hearing the Backstage Scoop. I know Steve because I'm a massive Denise Alexander fan. And I have been since I started watching GH in 1975. Thanks to Steve, I got to meet Denise a few years ago. So when I first read this, I thought I was reading the comment.
Okay.
Again. Anyway, after Steve's episode, I of course went back and listened to the episode about Lesley Webber. So fun. If you want any clarification on that character's early years, I'm your girl. I can tell you that when your summary mentioned her being kidnapped by her rich husband Cam, and then later you talked about him raping her, it was the same night.
Oh, okay.
The story was Lesley discovered that day that Cam was having an affair with his secretary, so she decided to leave him. They had been fighting over Laura, Lesley's career, and other issues. He got home, saw her packed suitcases. Go, Lesley, pack those suitcases and leaves.
Yes.
And flipped out. All caps. He was a rich millionaire type with a nobody's gonna leave me attitude. So he grabbed her and raped her on the couch, then made her get dressed and get in the car so he could bring her to the mountain house where he could teach her how a wife should act.
Ugh.
Presumably to give up sex whenever he wants. Ugh.
That makes me mad just hearing it.
I know. Go Lesley. Because
Yes.
obviously she was not having any of that. So trying to get away from that insanity, they showed them in the car with her crying and begging him to turn around and eventually grabbing for the steering wheel.
Mm.
Great scene, lurching car, and really good scream from Denise Alexander. Perfect Friday cliffhanger. Monday found Lesley in the hospital being told that she was in a car crash and Cameron was dead. She found out a few months later that she had gotten pregnant that night. So that was...
okay.
First reaction was, I'm not having the child of that lunatic. Secretly to all but her best friend sneaks off to New York City to have an abortion, but backs out at the last minute. Rick finds out, says he will help her. She won't be alone, and that is the beginning of their relationship.
Oh, okay.
So that's how Rick and Lesley...
Aww.
Okay, probably more than you wanted to know. No,
never too much information.
Not at all. Also, I've heard that Lesley's, quote, death was all off screen because the people running the show were angry that Denise wouldn't agree to their contract terms and decided to leave the show. So they decided to kill off the character, kind of out of spite. Denise had stopped working by then. And then just responded, thank you so much, and welcome to the audience. Donna then replied, my peak GH viewing was 75 to 80, so anytime you need info from then, feel free to ask. At one point, maybe 77 to 78, my diary, which I still have, was basically a GH daily recap because my own 13-year-old life was so uneventful.
Aww.
I love, everything about every single one of these messages.
Yes.
We learned.
Mm-hmm.
We got some of our answers that we need. Found out how Rick and Lesley started.
Right. We need, a Zoom meeting with all the top listeners.
Yes. Yes!
So they can tell us everything. Because they'd feed off of each other the way that we do.
Oh,
and then we'd have so
my
much fun.
gosh. We should do a round table.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's do it. So do we want to have a Lesley Webber round table? Do we want...
We could start with Lesley. We could just pick a different
I don't know.
every couple months.
Ooh. That's a great idea.
The top 10 characters.
Still write in your emails, but... Yeah, because we could just discuss
Facebook
old storylines. Yes.
Put it on Facebook too, because a lot of people will mention, I've been listening since forever.
Right.
And ask, a couple of them and a couple of our email people. And then they would just go back and forth. We would be very quiet because we would just be like, what? Talk more. Tell us more. We need to know everything.
If we cannot get GH on DVD, we would love. Yeah. That's the next best thing.
Exactly.
And then we get to hear their passion. I mean, I could feel the passion.
Yes.
As especially my 13-year-old life was not that interesting. So it was a daily, I kind of want to read her diary now.
I know.
Can you publish it, please?
I find that super funny because I got a journal for my birthday and Matt's dad was there and he was like, really? You keep a journal? And I was like, not as much as I did. You should read the ones the year that I was pregnant because it's all kind of good stuff there. So
I used to keep a diary faithfully.
I did it every night, especially whenever I was pregnant because I had a lot of feelings whenever you're pregnant. But then as life, you just get older and you don't find the time and then it's too much.
When I moved in with someone, I was like, I don't want them reading this.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
I did have an ex read one once and he was not happy with what he read. And I was like, don't read my stuff. So
you're allowed to feel whatever you think and you can.
Yeah.
You can think whatever you want to think and you can feel what you want to feel.
Right.
You just can't necessarily act on it.
There was a reason it went in the journal and was not a conversation between us. So you shouldn't have read it. Sorry.
Right.
But
how'd that conversation go afterwards?
I mean, he was still not happy, but.
Okay.
Sorry. Again, can't help you. But anyway,
nope.
I don't keep it as often as I did. But, a couple of times a year at least, I will update with, had another kid or broke up with this guy or whatever kind of thing.
I need to get back at the beginning of the COVID. At the beginning of the quarantine.
Yes.
I think I wrote like twice. I was like, this is it. I'm going to document. No, I didn't.
No. Well, because it became the same thing every single day. When you're going to enter, sat at home, watch TV, wasn't allowed to go outside.
Right.
Purchased my first face mask.
So, Grandma, what was your first face mask?
Right, exactly. I was so annoyed.
I bought a 5-pack off of Etsy because I didn't think we were going to need them for a year.
Yes. I kept using the medical ones at first because I refused to actually buy one that you would continually have to reuse because I was not going to do it. I'm
kind of having fun with them. I'm sorry. I like
So I like them. I just don't like them for pictures. That was my dilemma this week.
Yeah.
So bought the fancy dress for Madeline for First Communion, but she has to have a face mask. And
I'm like, gosh, buy her a white one that's all blinged out.
There's cute ones with little crosses and First Communion, whatever and stuff. So I will get her one, but I'm annoyed that in the church, she's going to have the face mask on when I'm trying to snap pictures. I know it's for everyone's safety. Obviously, we'll do it. Not complaining that end of it. Just one of those things that you don't think of.
Right.
This will be my 4th time doing this with one of my kids. Never had to buy a face mask.
She can't wear the shield? Before. Are they allowed to wear the face shields?
I think that'll mess up with the veil.
Get a piece of plastic and attach it to the veil. Make the veil into a shield.
I'll have to ask what the things are.
Yeah.
What the requirements
Some places don't allow the shields. Okay, we just went into COVID and shields and stuff. So
tell us what's in your diary about COVID.
But this is not reality check part 2. But we do want to hear your stories about, and let us know if you're interested in doing some kind of a topic roundtable. Doesn't necessarily have to be Lesley, but
I think it would be fun. The more fans that can
especially
connect.
Like if we went back into the 80s or something like that. Ooh, we could play that soap opera trivia book.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And the soap opera game, because especially if we played with people that watched it back when.
Yes.
Because we're interested in how it's changing or how some of the answers have changed.
The trivia game would be hysterical. Yep. Yes.
Oh.
All right, we'll see.
Okay. We got all these ideas just because you guys emailed us. Thank you so much for listening. And
yes,
I love it. And thank you, Steve, because you have 2 people at least.
He's definitely the connection for everything Lesley.
Well, especially, Denise Alexander, because he's like BFF with her.
Yeah.
So, all right. Join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows here in 2021.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.